Okay, we're going to do meditation first. And I've got my ritual table here going on. My 4 elements, earth, water, air, and fire. We're going to do that. And then now I'm going to go on Facebook and we will do a Facebook Live as well. So what I want you to do, okay, we'll wait till we get, there we go. Yeah. So you can find me at askhollyhall.com, Ask Holly Hall on Instagram, Ask Holly Hall on Facebook, Ask Holly Hall on Twitter, but I'm not really on Twitter very much. My computer is not like having all this. There we go. Go live on Facebook. And it gave me an error. I'm going to go camera. We're going to go Facebook again. What is it asking me? There we go. Okay, hang in there, guys. So YouTubers, if you've got a question, this is what I need. Okay. I need May 1st, 1987, or whatever your birth date is, and the question. Okay? All in one line. And that's the best way that I can make this work. And that's how we can do it. So let me see what's going on with Facebook. Keeps giving me an error, so I'm going to open it up again. I'm going to leave, and we're going to do readings. And you can ask anything. You got a boyfriend, you want to know what's going on, you got a career, you're not sure what to do about that, you've got a mother-in-law who's a pain in the butt. If you're just feeling down and out, you're not sure what's going on. But first I'm going to talk to you about the science behind some of the negative energy that many of you are feeling, and my clients are feeling as well, when it comes to the what's going on right now, right? All this COVID stuff. It's pretty intense. So Facebook Live is really important to me because I get a lot of people on there. So I got to make this happen. So hang in there with me, guys. Hang in. Oh my God, what the heck is going on? I don't understand. I might have to... What? Connect to your live stream. Connect to your live stream to the live API. No. I don't need to do that. And don't put third-party video ads. No. I don't want to do that. So, hang in, guys. I'm going to try and go to my Facebook page. And do it that way. No, can you do it from Facebook page? Not sure. Hang in, guys. And I'm not, I'm new to Instagram, so maybe you guys can tell me whether I can see, like, posts or something. And I can't go live from my page. Did Facebook? Oh, yes, I can. I was going to say, did Facebook change something and I don't know about it? Go live. There we go. What happened to my Instagram? You disappeared. There we go. Okay, so hi Toby, hi Faith, and 2 others, whoever you are. And I'm not sure if I can get chats here. Is there a question? I see a question box. Questions. Once you start the live video, questions from your viewers will show up here. Okay. And I am live, so you can ask me questions. So what I need, everyone, we're doing some live readings here, but first we're going to talk about the energy that we're feeling and how we can work with this energy. And I'm going to talk about the science in consciousness and science in the magnetic field. Okay, did a video on my YouTube channel, so check out my YouTube channel. Just look for Ask Holly Hall, I think, and you can find me. So what I need from you, if you want to have a reading from me, is this. And I don't know if you can see it, but I know I can see it here on Facebook. Okay, Ask Holly Hall is where you can find me in most places, and AskHollyHall.com. Okay, and then May 1st, 1987. Of course, your birth date isn't May 1st, 1997, but that's how I need it, okay? Not 05/01/87. Okay, I need to have that. And you have to have your question right beside it. Okay, so one line. And then I can do some readings for you. Let me see if I've got anybody asking me any questions here on UbiTubi. Hi, Passion. So, how did Mike? Okay, so I read for Passion earlier, and yes, you may, but we're going to see who else has come on first so we can give some other people a try. First, I'm going to do my meditation of intention. And the reason I do that is because I want to protect myself. I want to protect you guys. And I also want to bring in a third party, which is Universal Source, Universal Consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's where I get downloads and where I get information. Okay? So we're going to use my 4 elements of, but hang in there, Passion. We're going to use my 4 elements of water, air, earth. I've got my candle going with my sage there. And we're just going to cloak ourselves. I'm going to cloak this room with white, gold, and pink light. I really resonate with pink and gold sparkles that's inside a light. It's my imagination, okay? But my mind is a powerful tool. And if that's what calms me and makes me feel good, then so be it. Okay? And if it works for you, it works for you. So that's what I like. I like to imagine that I'm cloaked with this energy and that only goodness is allowed in there. And I'm open to channel or get messages, especially for you. Now, of course, I use astrology as well. That's my foundation. But I also have a philosophy and a psychology educational background. And a type of psychology, too, which is called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And I do hypnosis as well. But I mostly do that when I do past life regressions. And I think this weekend I'm going to do a past life regression live. So all of you guys can experience what that's like. So what I want to talk about is, while I'm waiting for people to come on live, and when you come on live and you want a session with me, and on Instagram, you can put your birth date like this, okay? Put the spelling of the month and the birth date, and if you know the time of your birth, then do that AM or PM, and then I have a question, all in one line, all in one sentence, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about, and like I said, subscribe on my YouTube, because I just finished doing a whole thing. It's about 12 minutes long around the energetic field. Okay, so there's a magnetic or a geographic magnetic field. It's a real thing. It's in the center of the earth, and it comes out from the north and the south pole, and it surrounds the entire earth. So it comes from within the earth, and it surrounds kilometers and kilometers around the earth. And what it does is it protects us from the certain types of rays and particles. It comes from our sun. And if we didn't have this magnetic field, we would die. We would perish. Okay, so we have this. Our own energy as well has a magnetic field around it. Now, from I've got this information from two websites. So one of them is thescience.com, and the other one is National Geographic. I think it's nationalgeographic.org. But everybody knows National Geographic. Okay, so those are the two places where I've gotten, and Wikipedia, where I've gotten some of this information. So the fascinating thing around this, and hang on, because I'm going to give you some really important messages that if you're feeling anxiety and panic and fear and you're frightened or you're sad or you're angry or you're worried, I'm going to be able to help most of you by the end of this conversation I'm having, and then we're going to do some live readings. But definitely go over to my YouTube page and watch the whole 12 minutes. So this magnetic field, actually, there are migrating animals and fish and insects use this magnetic energy to navigate themselves and to migrate. They use this, okay, and that helps them. A compass uses it. They put a magnet inside of the compass, and that compass connects to the magnetic field, and it can tell due north and south and east and west, all right, according to the magnet, because the magnet connects with our magnetic field. They did a study, and this was done at Princeton right after 9/11. And if you're too young, you may not know 9/11, but you have to be really young because it's a big deal, right? So that was a one-day occurrence that had happened. And there's the difference between 9/11 and what we're going through now is shortly after 9/11 and even several days and weeks after 9/11, most people went back to their normal way of living. Most, not everyone. To this day, of course, there are people affected by that. The COVID-19 is different because we are not going back to our normal way of living. In fact, we're getting more and more abnormally way of living whilst more and more is being shut down, etc. So this energy field is lasting longer. So let me explain what that is. So Princeton did a study, and they wanted to see if the magnetic field changed. There's a, I guess, kind of like the way they do volcanoes, or not volcanoes, earthquakes. There's like a numbering system of when it's really bad and when it's not so bad, like a Richter scale. So they did a type of study around that, and they wanted to see 10 minutes after. So that's when everybody would have got all their channels changed and they saw the news, and collectively, worldwide, we would have started feeling this panic, anxiety, fear, etc. So they wanted to see if the magnetic field changed 10 minutes after. So they did, okay? And it did change. But what came to their surprise is that it actually changed. It spiked 4 to 6 hours before the event. And so they came to the conclusion that not only are we connected, and are we connected, all of us connected to this magnetic field, and affects that magnetic field, which in turn affects us again back, but that there's some kind of prophecy, some kind of prophetic energy around this. That part I disagree with, considering I'm not a scientist and they are. But that part I disagree with, because with the 9/11, okay, not the conspiracy, but the action of that happening was in place. There were people that knew that they were going to do this, and so that negative, powerful energy was already in there. And then we start to pick up on that because they put this powerful projection into the energy, and then we got to look at, there's no concept of time. Okay, so that's a whole nother ball of wax. So here we are in the COVID, and we are collectively pumping all of this energy and emotions collectively into this magnetic field, and it is reflecting back on us. It's like a boomerang. Okay, now the other really crazy thing is that they have found, it's called magnetite, and it's a crystal, and these migrating animals have this inside of their body, and that's how they're able to navigate with the magnetic field around the earth. We have one, they discovered. We have one in our nose. I know, right? Like, what? Why in our nose? But we have this magnetite crystal, tiny, tiny, tiny thing there's a biological name for this part of our nose. I don't know but it's in there. And they know that humans that's how they navigate as well, right? And you know how some people just know what due north is? like literally. So some of us are very connected. They say it's in our subconscious, so we're not aware that we're using it to navigate ourselves to a degree. However, many of us are very tapped into our subconscious. Okay, so when we're tapped into that subconscious, we feel it more. So we're feeling this magnetic energy. So some of the ways that you can work around this is, I have a few things. So um, this rose crystal or this type of crystal here can work really well. Okay, and that's a quartz crystal, and it's very powerful energy, and this can help try to navigate that energy as well. You can, if you meditate, or you can start meditating, you can direct that energy, or if you feel any, and that's the other thing too is, and I know a ton of people, including my husband as well, where they got sinus, and Toby, you had that too, where they had sinus infection or sinus pain, or pain in their eye area, or pain in the front of the forehead, and so that would be the the effects of this crystal that we have. That's my theory. So, with that being said, when you're meditating, this is not your energy. Okay, you're picking up on other people's energy. So how you can tell is, if you're normally a pretty well-adjusted person and you just have your normal ups and downs in life, and all of a sudden you're just non-stop negative energy, your body's going to go into flight or fight and freeze, and you're going to feel this is the legit thing, that you should be afraid of something, that there's something to be feared of, and it's not necessarily so. I mean, we're all going to have to be cautious, that's for sure. So what you want to do is, if that's normally your behavior and you're overwhelmed by this fear now, or emotions or feelings or frustrations, whatever that is, when you sit in meditation, or you can just sit in quiet, you can do the whole cloaking of the white light and everything else that I do if you want, then you just say, if this is not mine, take it away. You send it back to source, okay? And then, but you send it back with loving kindness. And that's a Buddhist meditation, where you see and you feel that pink or green light, because that's the chakra, the heart chakra, and you send it back with loving kindness. I send it back with loving kindness. Okay, so whoever it came from, they can get a healing possibly, and it goes back into the magnetic field, because you're reflecting it back with loving kindness, not with fear. Okay, if you still have the fear, that's okay, just ignore it. Just do the loving kindness thing, okay? Fake it till you make it. All right? So I want to do some live readings. And is it because it's Friday? Pretty slow out there, guys. So I'm going to wait. Tatiana is in Ecuador, and she's literally my neighbor. She just lives a couple hours away. But now she's in Ecuador, which is probably not a bad place to be right now. And maybe, Tatiana, you can chime in about that. So, Miss Passion, now she came on earlier, and she talked to me about a person that she is engaged with, not engaged to. There's a connection between the two of them for quite a few years, and yet she knows very little about this person. But I had said that I saw this person is not available, that this person does keep a lot to himself, in that he does not divulge his emotions or his feelings. Hi, Francis, she's in Australia. And there's a tendency for him to hide and hold his vulnerability and not share his feelings. And yet, this kind of person, because they have trust issues, they want to know everything about you. Why? Because that makes them feel like they can have some trust. Because it's like forewarned is forearmed. The more they know about you, the more that they can protect themselves or control a situation, right? And, ooh, what happened there? There we go. And that was Instagram. And so they want to know everything about you, but what can be very confusing around that kind of relationship is that you fall in love with that person, because you think they care about you so much, and they love you so much, because they want to know everything about you, and they listen to you intently. But you know what they're doing? They're reading between the lines. They're watching your body language. They're watching your facial expression. They're listening to the tone of your voice. Sometimes they're doing this subconsciously. This has a strong um, Scorpio influence. This person has very strong Scorpio in their chart. And because of that trust issues, he just wants to know everything about you. So what happened was I had mentioned that, and you don't really know much about his life, and I saw a baby in there, or maybe he's still living with his parents, or there's something that's keeping him from being committed in a relationship. And because he keeps things back, he's not going to tell her everything. So I said, you need to ask him straight out. You've known this guy for a few years, and you don't really know what's going on. So ask him straight up. So now, and she agreed. She was like, you're right. All that stuff is happening, and some of it could be happening, and I really know nothing about him. So she's just a little wee in her early 20s. So hey, Katie, if you want to have a free reading, I'm doing free readings right now, but please listen to this ahead of time because I gave some really good messages for empathic people around the energy field and a scientific stance on it, and how you can not be as worrisome and fearful around these very confusing times. So if you want to have a reading, it's got to be like this. Okay, I want to see May or SEPT September. Okay, Sissy. Okay, great. Now, but I need the question too, Sissy. Okay, so I need your birth date and the question. So you put the question in now, and I'll go there. So I don't have to share it with the world, and you don't have to share it at all, Passion. But what I want to know is, were you direct with him? Because I told him you have to be direct. You have to ask him point blank. What is your living situation? Are you with a partner? Do you have a child? Hi, Ekaterina. I'm doing free readings, and you have to say your birth date and your question, including your year. And I don't want numbers. I need to have like October, September, November, that type of stuff. So did you ask him straight out? Were you direct? Can you put in, and I need your question right beside your birth date, not more than 2 lines, or I will lose track. So, and I'm going to get to Sissy next. And then Ekaterina. So, could you tell me exactly what you had said to him? Because if okay, honey, I don't talk to animals or people that have passed on. I am able to do that once in a while, but it's not enough for me to. Sometimes when I do long 1 hour readings at AskHollyHall.com, people come to me, but it's not something I do regularly. So if you are not direct with him, because he beats around the bush, he will manipulate what you say. You have to be so direct. You have to be ridiculously accurately direct with him, okay? Or you will not. No, I'm not doing talk. Does he have? No, he has no. I'm not doing. I don't. I do astrology readings and I do life coaching. So I'm not doing mediumship at all. So because it's very easy for him to take out of it what he wants. He'll see the passion in it. He'll see that you want him. He'll see that you're still wanting to be with him, and that's all he's going to take from it. He's going to love, he's going to eat that up, right? You need to get direct answers. And if he beats around the bush and doesn't really tell you the whole thing, you need to text him back the exact same. You didn't answer my question. You didn't answer my question. Okay? So, Passion, you're saying hello, and I'm talking to you, Passion. Okay? So you need to be direct with him. So let me know. Otherwise, it's quite convoluted. He's going to, right now, he's trying to think of how he can beat around the bush and not give you the exact answer. So you're going to find that you're going to get mixed message from him, and it's going to be enough if you really want him. I'm talking to you, Passion. If you really want him, you have to, if you really want answers from him, you have to ask him direct questions. Okay? And if he comes back with a mixture, and you're like, oh, I just want him to say everything I want to hear, then you're going to believe him. You're going to buy it. Hook, line, and sinker. Okay? But I want you to make sure he's being extremely accurate. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Okay? So I don't know, Passion, if you've got a chance to right there, what did you say to him? Did you ask him exactly what you wanted to know? So now we're going to go to Sissy, and I'll wait for that answer from Passion. And Sissy, we've got you. And if you want to private message me on Facebook and Instagram, if you want to ask me a question, just go right ahead. If you don't want, your privacy of your name or I don't really know how old I am. Okay, so we've got. And Sissy, I don't have your question yet. So I'm going to put your birth date there, and I'm going to wait for your question. And then I'm going to go to Fran. And I'm not getting any passed on kitty cat messages, sorry. And Julie, I'll get to you next. And Sissy, I won't be able to get anything unless you give me a question. Okay, hon? AskHollyHall.com. If you want to have, they're only $79 or pretty much half price because of all the COVID thing. I really want to help support people. There's book solid every week, but I think I have a couple openings next week. I do chat as well, so if you come on a Facebook and you want to do a half an hour chat with me, and that's what Passion did with me this afternoon, and it's $35. So PayPal.me@Holly8888. So Holly8888, and then / and then you just go there and you just put $35 in, and then you US, and then you PM me, private message me on Facebook, and make sure I'm available, and we'll start having a conversation. Okay? And if I'm not available, we can book it. So now I'm gonna look at Frances. She's a regular client of mine. And what is important for me to remind myself right now around my soul purpose and how to serve others. So, because you're a regular client, I pretty much I have your chart right here on the database. And we know that you're going through a soul rebirth. Okay? But you're also entering into a new phase, which is what I'm really excited about. And what a soul rebirth is, just to give people an idea, is I strongly believe in past lives. And this is just a blink of an eye. This is like going into grade 7. And when we have many past lives, we build up behavioral patterns and characteristics, and some of them are not favorable. A lot of it's because of what we've experienced in a past life, some of it traumatic. And when we go through a soul rebirth, we're getting rid of that behavioral pattern that is holding us back and blocking us from happiness and success. And sometimes it's easy, which means it's a gift. It's a lot of behavioral patterns that are positive that you've built up through past lifetimes because you did the hard work, right? That's why every lifetime, including this one, you want to do the hard work. You want to do the heavy lifting, right? Build up those karmic muscles so you can reap the rewards. And you can reap them in this lifetime, and sometimes it's not till next lifetime. But in other cases, it's challenging, it's hard, it's difficult. So with Frances, this is around communication and her finding her voice. And with this one, it's about her not making her voice small and not having limiting beliefs. And that's around perfectionism, okay, because it's with the sign Virgo. And it's also because she's extremely empathic, and that empathy is being absorbed. She's absorbing other people's emotions and feelings, so it's challenging for her to be around, people who've got limiting beliefs as well. She takes them on as her own, as if they're hers. And I mean, I can tell people till I'm blue in the face that this is not yours, this is not yours. I can tell myself that sometimes, and it's really challenging, it's hard. But what's really neat that's coming up is at the end of May, you're going to have a sudden, unexpected, and when I say unexpected because it's Uranus, we don't know exactly what it is, okay? Because it's Uranus, it's unexpected, it's out of left field. I mean, you better look for something that's completely not what you would think it is. I had a client one time who ended up going on a trip with a friend who was into Tool and Die in Vegas, and it was a conference, and she was like, I don't want to go there, and she was making all these excuses, but I do regular coaching with her every month, so I worked her out of that, all those excuses, and I said, you're going. That's your friend. She wanted to go. She wanted to hang out with her friend in Vegas. She didn't want to do the trade show part, but her friend needed help at the last minute, so she went. And that was the opportunity, because she said, sorry, Holly, no opportunity happened for me. And then she told me that, and I was like, wait, back up the bus. No, you're going to go to this thing. She meets somebody at the airplane, at the airport. She met somebody, a wife, where the husband was talking about tool and die stuff to her friend, and the wife was sitting there bored, so they struck up a conversation, and it boosted her business. One ended up being a somewhat of a business partner connection that way, and the other one ended up being a client. So this is what I mean. She could have missed. She could have missed that bus, right? So this is what's happening with you. You can't pretend to think that you know what it is, because that's how out of field it is. It does come through a new friendship, and it does have to do with a completely new project and a passion that you have, and it does involve finances and some money, and it gives you and it's very, it's like a coming out party. I'm so excited for you. Now this is a transit that goes till a year from now, April 2021. I'm really itching my hand, so I'm wondering if is that money, the left hand? Money's coming your way. And yeah. So, and it has to do with the fourth house, which has to do with your home and family. So I'm wondering if you're going to build an office around your home. Uranus is the internet. So building that online internet platform, we've talked about that. Do it now, 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 now. Okay, limiting beliefs. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, yep, yep. Just let them go in the background and don't listen to them. Make that happen. All right. So now we're going to take a look at. It was more of me telling him how I felt, and it wasn't really a question. It was a long passage. He just wrote his story. I felt that way, and that he didn't know I felt like that most of the thing. Okay. Well, passion, when we really want, when we have the fairy tale belief and we want our freedom, and in this case, she likes her freedom and independence, and she's young, there's a tendency to be attracted to partners that are going to subconsciously, they give us that freedom and they give us that independence because they have commitment issues, they're not emotionally, psychologically, or physically available, and you never really feel this complete connection, or those long-term, long distance relationships. And so it's easy to make up what that relationship is, and make up, called the blue sky syndrome. You can make up the relationship, you can make up the story behind it. You fall more and more in love with that story. Anything that they say, you find little bits and pieces of what they say that can contribute to that story, so that it makes it real, makes it true, right? But if you don't really know what his life is, you don't know where he lives, you don't know if he's got a girlfriend, you don't know anything about him, you need to know that right away, girlfriend. And anyone would tell you that. Okay, so we're going to go now to Francis. I hope that rings true for you. Please give me some feedback. Sissy, I do. I have you at February 17th, Sissy, but I don't have a question from you, so I'm just waiting for questions. So, Julie, we're going to take a look at. Oh, your birthday's coming up? April 13th? That's awesome. Happy early birthday. Okay, so and then again, you can get a hold of me at askhollyhall.com. You can get a hold of me at Ask Holly Hall on Facebook. I've got a group, I've got a page. My profile is Ask Holly Hall 1. My group I'm on my page right now, so that's where I'm broadcasting from. And on Instagram, Ask Holly Hall as well. So do you see an end to the medical issues I have been dealing with? So I'm going to first talk about what I see with medical issues, but then I would like your feedback, because when we're doing a long-winded, like a 1 hour session, I can pretty much, I can see more because I'm really spending a lot more time on it. I'm wondering if you know your time of birth, but if not, I'm going to move on with this. And if I'm not hitting it, then tell me what the medical issues are, and then not yet though, and then I'll look for that specifically in there. Okay. So one of the things that you're very sensitive around, and some of this can be a mystery to people, to the medical profession, and some of it isn't. So one of them are stomach issues. You're very sensitive to dairy. Okay, so you gotta cut dairy out of your life. Sorry, hon, 100%, because you're addicted to dairy too. You love the sugar in the dairy. You love the you like sugar. So could be, you gotta be careful around diabetes because of that. There's thyroid, very strong around thyroid, so autoimmune disorder. So I don't know if this is an autoimmune disorder that you're having. There's the breast, the stomach, okay, as well, and adrenal fatigue. Okay, those are, so that's the adrenals, obviously. So I'm gonna wait and see if I get some feedback around that from Julie, and then I'm gonna look at moving forward when you're going to see some relief. So definitely cutting out the sugar, cutting out the dairy, and the dairy, if you're going to do one or the other. You're going through a soul rebirth as well, honey, and this is not an easy one. And this started at the beginning of last year, and soul rebirths are long. They're like 2 to 3 years, okay? And I had one that I had some back to back, so I went like 7 years soul rebirth. Yeah, I don't know who I am. I'm not the same person anymore. And so this has to do with power struggles, and it's about self control. Okay, you're very empathic. You also take on the emotions and the feelings of others, and especially around children. But I do see right now it's at its peak, and right now you're really struggling and you're frustrated with either the medical profession or the powers that be, that are, you're just not getting the help that you want. You're not getting the support that you want. You're not getting answers. You feel like you got your head up. You're between a rock and a hard place, and that's strong now. It's gonna get easier. It's gonna subside quite a bit. I'm gonna take a look at what you've said. Oh, geez. You know what I don't like about Facebook? It doesn't scroll down when people chat. I have to see. So, okay, Kay, I'm going to take a look at you as well. So, yes, I have chronic angioedema of the face. I have cut all that out, and my body went to shock. So, I had to reintroduce foods. I actually eat a little dairy, but do still have cheese. Okay, so you're a survivor, and you can be extreme, and it's all or nothing for you. So yeah, I could see that your body. Because I was gonna say, if you're gonna quit one or the other, do the dairy first, because that eliminates some sugar, especially if you like ice cream and that, and then you could work on the sugar part, right? Julie, have I done a reading for you before? Because I did have a client that had this type. I think this type, is that when the face gets puffy, right? There's a lot of water retention. Okay, so you're gonna find answers. You're gonna have to start a new regime. You're gonna go through a lot of professionals. You're going to go the nutritionist route. Okay, not a homeopath. The nutritionist. This has to do with food, because you're very sensitive to foods, and there's allergies around that. Remember, disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. Okay, so do your due diligence. This is just what I'm energetically seeing. And with this, and you've got to get, even if you get, what do you call those, integrative medicine, and if they're working with food as well, allergies around that. Not your typical naturopath that works with doctors. Okay, ones that go a bit deeper and in and around childhood, because this is very much directed to a dominant parent as a child. It's past life related. One of that past life experience that you had was you were reborn to one of those parents. I'm seeing it as being a father, but sometimes it's a dominant mother. And you want to look back at the feelings and the emotions and the loss and the lack of nurturing and the basically surviving your childhood, because there was a lot of anger there as a child. So you want to look at that. Not about blame, not about shame. Okay, definitely got to have this forgiveness factor around it. They are who they were, but and some of it was cultural. However, it's just about going within yourself and re-nurturing and reparent that inner child. That's what this is about on a spiritual, psychological level. So I would like your feedback around that. Yes, a while ago, yes, the face swells. Okay, so yeah, I know. And so this is February, the end of this year, the beginning of next year is when the regime that you're going to be going through after you're going to see a naturopath and whatnot, you will, I'm getting an osteopath as well, okay, because there's a past life energy around this. So osteopath and a naturopath that does like an integrated medicine. And then look at that childhood, re-nurture, reparent yourself. Lots of things you can find on Facebook. Again, I'm not a medical professional. Do your due diligence. And then in January, you're going to get some answers. You're going to get some results. It's going to be like boot camp. And I know you've been going through this for so long, hon. I feel for you. I wish I had a magic wand. And then a year from then, okay, so in the new year of 2021, is it the new year of 2021? I'm so excited if it is, because that's not that far away. That's when your rebirth is over. It's already been a year and a half. Give me the time of your birth. So, yeah, no, it's the fall of 2021. That's when it's 100% completely over and this whole rebirth is done. Okay? I think it's going to be over a couple months before that. Right? So, I'm going to get your feedback around that. And I've had this for 10 years. Many Western daughters. My dad is the one. And I do love them. Okay, so it's your dad. You've been holistic root for some time, and we'll look at cutting out dairy completely. I am all about forgiveness and understanding. I know you're such a compassionate, caring, nurturing person, and reparenting, love it. Okay, so you can go on my YouTube channel, and I've got a lot of meditations for meeting the inner child and working with understanding the inner child and healing that inner child. I got a lot of stuff on there on my YouTube, and I've also got Insight Timer. You can get that on your iPhone or your Android, and you can get some of my meditations there as well. And I know that there's some, so look at osteopath, look at a naturopath, the allergies, or homeopath, whatever resonates with you. But they need to look at how energetically you're allergic to some foods. Do the whole healing package around that. But I also want you to, every single morning, to imagine that you're cloaking yourself with white light and pink and gold sparkles in that light, and you're cloaking yourself. Your energy can go out, okay, and positive energy can come in. But if there's any negative energy, and we talked about the magnetic field at the beginning, so I want you to re-listen to the beginning of this, okay? Because you pick up other people's emotions and feelings, and you're taking that on yourself. And it's interesting because you've got Aries powerful in your chart, and Aries rules the face. So even though you've got all this forgiveness and you're a loving, wonderful, caring person, there's some anger there. And we've got to let that anger out. And part of that can be just get yourself a punching bag and just get angry. Just make it up if you have to. Because sometimes you're so compassionate and forgiving that you don't want to actually say, well, I'm mad at you, Dad. Whoa, because it feels like you're not forgiving him. But it's not about that. It's about letting it out, letting this anger out. Okay? And not controlling it as much. So, hi Edna, we're going to go there. My dad is an osteopath. I see one of the osteopath friends and a Chinese medical doctor. I see one of his. Okay, good. So, there's a movement that the osteopath does. I don't know if he's done this with you, but they hold you and they do this kind of like a rocking with that. And I don't know what that does, but I know it has something to do with centering. So look at that. But I know you've tried everything. I know you have. I feel for you. Hi, Monica. I need to be better about bubbling myself every day. Thanks for the call. I know. I love that. Bubble yourself. Pink bubble yourself. Okay, but I want you to let out this aggression. Okay, your adrenal glands are very strong and they're letting out this cortisol constantly. Okay, well, they let out adrenal stuff, but it creates this cortisol. Have you had your cortisol tested? You can buy the kit. I had to buy the kit. It was like $150 or something. American. I'm Canadian. I haven't done it yet, but it's a swab. And you do a 24-hour swab and you send it in to see what your cortisol is. Some people have none. Some people have too much. Okay, and that can cause swelling as well. So look at your cortisol. Tell me if you cortisol. Tell me if you've had that. So Edna says, hi Holly, I'm currently working on opening up my intuition and psychic gifts per our discussion a few months ago. She's one of my clients. Do you have any focus tips to intensify my growth and efforts? I'm very called towards animal communication. Well, then you can go on my YouTube channel and you can talk to that girl who wants to know about her cat who just died. I could bring you on. We could do a duo. Okay? And you can do the animal thing. People want to talk to their animals. I would love to do that, Edna. But Edna, what's your birth date? I don't have it. You have to give me your birth date, Edna. Okay. So, Sissy, I still have a question from you. And I'm getting busy here, so I don't know. So, Kea, there a way for you to control your anxiety? You and I talked about this, and I 100% agree with you. I know that you like our emails back and forth because Kea will pay my mini readings on AskHollyHall.com for either $30 or $35 for 2 questions and $45. I think it's $30 for 2 questions and $45 for 3 questions. And if one of those questions includes a person, 2 people I have to look up, then it's 1 question and then 2 questions. So, and she does that a lot. I'm going to take a sip. Toby and Faith, are you still really there? Or you just got Instagram on? I think it's cool if you are. Faith is my niece. And my girlfriend, oh my gosh. Well, we're like girlfriends, even though she's my daughter. It's her boyfriend. So, you need to communicate because you're going through what's called a Neptune transit. And Neptune transits are extremely confusing. It's like you're on a drug. Okay? And everything you think is real. And everything that is questionable is frightening. And there's every boogeyman around every corner. It's really trying to get you out of the left side of your brain, which is where our logic and our rationale is. The more you try to rationalize, the more that you try to put everything into your logic and make concrete sense of things, the more convoluted and confusing it will be. You too, listen to the beginning of this. You're going to pick up, you're a nurse, for crying out loud. I mean, you're a hero. You are our hero, Kea. I mean, mwah, 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 mwah. Right? But on top of that, you're an empath and you're taking in all of this energy that's around you. You got the most amazing, beautiful mom. The energy is exact opposite of yours, where your mom just says, it'll be whatever it'll be. Whatever happens, que sera, sera, and it's unrealistic to you. I understand that. You're like, why aren't you worried? Why aren't you scared? Why aren't you, but that's the Buddhist way of living. We have to live in the moment. We can't live for tomorrow, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We have no clue. And I mean, I am guilty of that. I have been there, but so many times things that I thought was going to happen never happen. And you and I have had that conversation. You've got a wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous history that a lot of the illnesses that you thought you had, and I said you didn't have them, you didn't have them. They never transpired. They didn't turn into be anything. And I know that when you email me, it makes you feel better because, well, Holly was right before, so she's going to be right this way. But I've been very careful around answering the COVID because everybody is asking me, am I going to get the COVID flu? Am I going to get the COVID? Am I sick with the COVID flu? What's going on with the COVID flu? And I just can't. I can't go there and answer that, right? That it's a completely different situation. But I usually, okay, I feel very confident that if I say, yeah, this is not your time. This is where all our lives are going to end, and this is not your time. Ain't going to happen now. So that's what I'll say, right? But I'm not going to go on about whether you're going to get a flu or the sickness or whatever. But in your case, what I like about it is that when Neptune is involved, and somebody tells me that they have this symptoms of some sort, okay, and I'm just being general, I'm not talking about COVID, okay, yeah, okay, and they have these symptoms, and they're going to the doctors, and they're getting tests, and they're getting blood tests, and they're getting, you know, AKGs, and they're getting CAT scans, and nothing's wrong. They see nothing wrong over and over and over again. That's what happens with Neptune, because there isn't anything wrong. But our minds play games when we have this Neptune stuff. And why are we going through it? You know, sometimes it's like, why are there flies? Flies are annoying. What use are they? But there is use for this. It is lifting the veil so that you will go more with your intuition, you will go more with your gut feeling, and you're going to start to try to understand how you can cloak yourself, how you can protect yourself. So this is the answer to your question. And this is all over the end of this year. It's heightened right now, and it ebbs and flows. You're going to feel it kick in again in around June, just for about a week or so, and then October, November, December, gone. So this is around control, and we've already established that you're a control freak, and that's why you're really good at being a nurse. And I think you've been a head nurse, and you've been in charge of your department, or they might as well pay you like you are because you're pretty good, very good at it. But this is around control, and the only way that you can create some healing around that anxiety is put that white cloak around you every single morning. Do calming meditations. I'm not a medical professional, but I know there's something factor, health factor. It's a supplement brand. They make GABA, and they also do one with altroxylene or something. Anyways, they're chewables, and you can have them like every few hours, and they help calm as well. 5-HTP, and I take those, and I take 5-HTP at night because my central nervous system gets affected. That's what happens with, and that's what happens with you. It's your central nervous system. You're ready to bite somebody's head off. Okay, you can eat a whole bag of chips, 3 or 4, because that's that. Get that tension out, right? That salty, chewy stuff. Carrots just don't cut it, do they? So, and you're going to see some relief in June, actually. There's a new relationship that comes into play. I don't think it's a bad thing for you to be at home right now. Well, obviously, because I know you're living in your family empire, so to speak. And so and then listen to my meditations on surrender. Surrender, 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 surrender. That's your mantra. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. I don't have an answer, okay? I surrender. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, Edna, I'm waiting to look at your birthday, May 4th. And then we're going to... Okay, sweetie. Okay, I hope that helps, because when I see Neptune involved, There isn't anything physically going on most of the time. Again, I'm not a medical professional, but you are. And we love you because are. You're in the front line. You're in the front line. And she found out that a coworker has COVID. And so she's freaking out. And it's okay for you to freak out. It's okay, okay? But you're also taking on the energy of other people and the anxiety, and you gotta meditate. It's the only way. You gotta meditate. You gotta bring the energy. You gotta do the bubble, right? You gotta coat yourself with a bubble and just have fun. You're a really serious person, and you have forgotten how to have fun. Play game. Like, you're in your family home, and you're over worrying about them and trying to control them. And damn it, if they would just do what I told them to do, I would feel safer. I would feel less out of control. No, no, it won't. It will never be enough for you. Okay, so play some games. Get that meme game. Get Heads Up. You get it on your phone. And there's a free version, and you have to guess what's on someone's forehead. Just have fun. Tell me that you're going to start doing that. Okay, sweetie? Just have some fun. And those dates that I gave you are going to happen. But in the meantime, that's what you do. So Edna is May 4th, and she wants to start a psychic business. And I'm going to give you some tips. And I do a lot of business coaching with my clients. And they don't know half the stuff that they're supposed to do. So the first thing, as I'm looking you up, I'm going to give you some tips, Edna, is May 4th. Do you know what time you were born? You need an Instagram page. You need a Facebook page and a Facebook group. And you need a YouTube channel, because I'm doing this on YouTube. And there's people left, right, and center. I gotta see if there's anybody on YouTube now. What's coming up for my love life? Okay, Carmen Glow. I'm gonna take a look at that. And then Katerina. And then we're done. Okay? It wasn't about you making up a fairy tale. It was raw. What does raw mean? What does that mean, passion? We know you got the passion. Okay, so let's go back to Edna. And then there's ways that you can make money on this too, which is eventually I will be charging for doing these many ones, but not yet. And they won't be that much. So when I see that the energy is ripe, and we have to take advantage of these, this time of energy when I speak of it, because if you don't, like, nothing just shows up on a silver platter. When Uranus is involved, there is a tendency for things to show up on a silver platter, which is what Fran will be going through. But when Uranus isn't involved, we normally have to do the legwork. So I love this because since the spring, and this is going to be dawning, it's birthing in February of 2021. But up until then, you're past the halfway point, okay? Because it started in April 2019, a year ago. And this is when, at first, it was very emotional. It was heavy. There was moods. You had these really strange moods. Wanted to sleep all the time. You were making stuff up around your emotions. Why am I feeling this way? You felt lost and confused around that. You were trying to rationalize it, which is what you do. You go way too much in your head, which is fine. If you're a school teacher, you're very good at teaching, you're very good at litigating and working with people, you love nature, and that's where you do really well. If you are going, and that's why you're good at working with animals too, if you're going to start doing that, and go get these pages, gather people, and also go onto Facebook pages where they do people like yourself, like myself. We join these Facebook groups and we do free readings for people. People just come on and say, can anybody read my cat? Can anybody talk about me and my boyfriend? And you pick and choose if you want to work on them. And that's where you practice. Okay? And then you practice and you do some stuff for free like this in your groups. And just have somebody say, I want to know. and then you just put out, and sometimes you see symbols that make no sense, right? It's like, you might say like, I just got a toenail, and you're asking me about your cat. I want to get a toenail. And then, she might tell you that they cut the cat's toe nail and it was too deep and it got infected and it was so horrible and you felt totally, and then you'd be like, I connected with her cat. Okay? So you're in the midst of that energy right now, but you can't use the left side of your brain. You can only use the right side of the brain. And there's a lot of exercises that you can do for the right side of the brain. That's meditation. Ask for answers while you sleep. Get a lot of crystals going on, girl. Do some meditations. Do exercises. Look it up. Okay, look up left brain, like stimulating the left brain exercises. Okay, and what you do is your clear audio, so you hear things. Okay, tell me if that's true. You hear it and you just know. There's a knowing, right? So tell me if that resonates with you. Know my parents. Edna. Discussion a few months ago. Do you see me focus tips that intensify my growth and efforts? Okay, and then you said know your parents, so I'm not sure what you're talking about now. So I'm going to go over to May 28th, 88. I am going through health issues. With my health improved even more, I'm feeling sick. You're feeling sick. So is this a question, do I have COVID? Because I won't answer that. Okay? But let me take a quick look. May 28th, 88. I'll do one more after that from YouTube. And then it's like back and forth and back and forth. I have such a short attention span for numbers. Now you are the beginning of Gemini. No. May 28th. Yes, beginning of Gemini. I don't know why I did May 4th, and my computer is lagging because I got too much crap open from my old Mac. I don't like the new Macs. They make me crazy. They don't have all the jacks and everything in them. It's like, what the hell? You gotta buy all this other stuff. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been highly endorsed by Dr. Shefali, if you know any of her work. I'm quite busy, but I really like to do this freebie stuff. And yeah, you've got this craziness going on that's going to end a year from now. It's just starting now. You're accident prone. And you've got the Neptune thing climbing in there at the end of the beginning of next year. And there's a lot going on with your central nervous system. You really do have to be careful with your lungs. Some people that I see charts like this are smokers. And so let me know if you're a smoker. You were a smoker once upon a time. And there's also dairy, a sensitivity to dairy as well, and the central nervous system. Most of this is like you get something sudden and then it goes away. And then you're accident prone and then that goes away. And it's usually things that are happening very quickly and they come and go and they come and go. It's like one thing after the other. Your time of birth makes a difference, and then I can look at health as well. But you got this other wonderful thing going on, which just started now, and there's romanticism, and you're very compassionate about people, and you're feeling really good. You've got healing powers right now. You can heal yourself. You got like superpowers right now around healing. And if you're not in a relationship, there's a new relationship coming in that's wonderful. There's a new love that you have for yourself. This is a great time to serve others. Okay, this is a really good time for you to reach out and help others and serve others in any way that you can. And if you're in a relationship, it improves greatly. And that starts at the beginning of April. Okay, so she said I was right on. She's very sensitive to dairy. She didn't smoke, but she does have lung problems. Yeah. Multiple chemical sensitivity and autoimmune. That all has to do. Holly, you make me so happy. You give me so much hope. The lungs, and you can do breathing. Okay, do breathing meditation. And there's one that goes like this. It makes you very, very calm. Kaya, that's good for you too. Okay, you can look that up, this type of breathing exercise. You need to do a lot of breathing and a lot of energy work around your lungs. Okay, and that's also about communicating. So communicating is write things down, get yourself a journal, find somebody to talk to. Okay, and if you're single, there's some love in your life coming in. So January 28th, 93, what's coming up from my love life? And that's going to be the end of the day. January. Da, 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 da. February. Ba, da, ba, ba, ba. March. Okay. January 28, 93. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Love potion number 9. Let's send it over to her. I'm going to surround you in pink light, everybody. Okay, everybody, while we're wrapping this up and I'm looking at this right now, I want you to sit and I want you to close your eyes and I want you to surround yourself. I'm going to still do this reading, honey, don't worry. I just want to get everybody in this moment. Close your eyes, start taking deep breaths from your belly, not from your chest, from your belly. I want you to surround yourself with white light. I want that white light to have pink and golden sparkles all inside of it, just all over you. You know what? You are half and half personality. So there's a side of you, Carmen Glow, that is very compassionate and caring and intuitive and looking for your soulmate and that person to complete you that you can feel at home with and you can feel comfortable. But you're also a fiery, independent person and you need your freedom and you need your independence. So what happens? There's a tendency to find comfort and solace and grace and compassion with a person who lives on the edge and is fiery and kind of the bad boy or bad girl, whichever gender you go for, and is unpredictable and unreliable and needs their freedom. So what you're doing subconsciously is you're choosing people that will give you that independence and freedom. You're adventurous. You need someone who's adventurous. And I will tell you that not everybody meets their soulmate, but you will. And that will be in hang in there. It's not going to be until 2022. The end of 2021. Yeah, so the latter part of 2021, probably the fall or the end of the year. But that doesn't mean that you don't meet the person before that. Okay? You can meet the person before that. I'm the same way with births. I can predict dates, but I don't know if that's the beginning, which is conception, or it's the end, which is the birth of the child. And in this case, it's the same way. You're a go-getter, so when you want somebody, they know it. You're no hiding anything. But if they're a bad boy, you're a nurturer. You mother those bad boys. So be careful. Make sure you nurture yourself and you get nurturing too. They usually don't get any better. You look for They want a mommy, right? You don't want to be a mommy because you want your independence. You want a strong guy or a strong partner, and that's independent and adventurous, just like you. All right. So you could meet them throughout the summer, but you're in a solid long term. This is a very fated soulmate type of relationship. Now, soulmates isn't what people think it is. They think it's happily ever after and you complete me and you fit perfectly together and everything's wonderful and rosy and great. Usually, soulmates connect because they're to support each other, to help each other, to learn from each other, to be there for each other one way or the other. So it can be a bit of both. Okay? No two parents. I'm also starting to have some bits of clairvoyance, but pretty sporadic. I think there's a long delay. Okay, yeah, there probably is. But thank you for your insight, Holly. Okay. Hi, Lily Kim. There probably is a long delay. So that's great. Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody. We've got the pink light around. And Carmen Glow, yes, you are now. Wow, that's good. Okay. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay. So we're going to put this golden pink light around us. And we're going to sit and we're going to breathe through our belly. And we're going to imagine light coming from. Yes, soulmates are friends and family. My daughter's my soulmate. And she has soulmates too. Her boyfriend's her soulmate. And this light is coming from you. It's emanating from you. Okay? And it's golden white light. And it's loving kindness. Loving kindness. Loving kindness. Okay? And it's like a boomerang. Loving kindness comes in. Loving kindness goes out. Loving kindness comes in. Loving kindness goes out. Loving kindness comes in. Loving kindness goes out. And when you feel fear and frustration and anger and hurt and you're afraid, loving kindness out. Fear in. Loving kindness out. Fear in. Let it go out with loving kindness. Namaste. I was never live. I wasn't live on Instagram. What the hell? And this screen.